Alright folks, today I'm going to be looking at the differences and similarities between two $20 survival bags, one from Amazon and one from Temu. This is Urban Sentinel. Let's get into it. Now with a lot of emergency preparedness channels, you'll get some of these different gear comparisons between a $20 item and a $200 item or a $2,000 item. I don't have $2,000, I don't have $200. If I did, I'd have to use it for a lot of other things besides this. I picked $20 as a reasonable price point, even though, yes, right now the economy isn't the greatest and $20 sometimes really doesn't get you that much. I wanted to see what you could get for $20. Now, mind you, the $20 is the maximum cost of the item. That's not counting the tax, that's not counting the shipping and the handling. But effectively, both of these bags were just under $20. I believe the Temu one came in at around 17 something, and the Amazon one came in just under the line at $19. I may have those numbers mixed up, but I'll put a link in the video so that way you can check them out if you want to on your own. Anyway, let's get into the overall look of each of these bags. Now, although both bags were pretty much priced to be the same, I couldn't find two sets of bags with the exact same things in them. So with that being said, the items that are in this bag from Amazon versus the items that are in this bag from Temu are going to be similar in some aspects, and then there are going to be some significant differences. And once I start opening them up, we'll take a look at some of them. But overall, let's just take a look at the overall bags as a whole. We'll start over here with the one from Amazon. Now, this bag, it's got a decent weight to it. It is pretty full. I have not actually undone it. And what we're looking at are MOLLE straps on the front, a little Velcro area here, these patches come off. On the back, strapping again for more MOLLE, and what I also like on this is it has a strap here in case you're going to carry it as a separate bag, as well as D-rings integrated into it. One of the big things that you don't initially think about, it's got a little secure tab. This is all Velcro back here for the purpose that if you have this attached to a belt or to a bag or some other item and you need to pull this off, you can detach with the Velcro. So the Velcro itself would be attached to your belt or to some other piece of gear, and then the bag detaches on its own. Now the Temu one, again, MOLLE webbing on the front, strap also here on the back, little Alice clip, and again, Velcro on the side. And the same situation, back padding detaches, you've got the bag itself. So now let's get into what do we have on the inside. Alright, so we're going to start with the bag from Amazon. Alright, so inside here, we'll just cover this area right now. A little fold out pouch, zippered. A little mesh webbing there. You can probably keep little cards and the IDs, that sort of thing that you may need. Interior, there's a pocket in here with two sets of elastic webbings. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. I got a lot of stuff flopping out. I'm just going to start unloading, see what we see. Alright, and then on the inside, that is loose, on the inside, got another set of elastic straps, a pocket here, Velcro closure with another pocket. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3 integrated pockets, 3 sets of straps, and a little pouch attachment here as well. That's just on the bag. Now we're going to take a look at the equipment and see what it actually entails. All right, so we're gonna just kind of go around. So right off the top, we've got 6-inch glow sticks, which good for emergency signaling, illuminating an area close enough that you could read by. Not as much that I would trust it walking like a flashlight. They're not going to be that bright, but they are good enough that you could read a map with it and get a general sense of where you're going. You could also use it to illuminate an area if you need to signal for help or to indicate that, you know, someone's in this area. We got a pair of safety shears, medical shears here. One of these, which I actually have a couple of these in my EDC stuff. It's a little emergency card. It's realistically about the size of a credit card, if I can slip it out. And it comes with several integrated built-on items. You know, you've got a small saw here. You've got effectively wrenches to use, bottle opener, a small cutting edge, another can opener for specifically opening up cans that way. It's basically a mini toolkit. It's not going to do a lot of things, and depending upon what you're trying to use it for, it can be quite awkward, but it's one of those small, easy to keep in your pocket or in a pack or anything. This one, ferro rod, so we've got a striker and the rod in there, starting fires. Inside, it was in this box here, looks to be a small knife. Let me just pop these both out the wrapper. Alright, so you got the fire starter right there. You need to start a fire, which little cotton balls come in it, so that's an add. Then you've got the small pocket knife, has a clip for actually slipping it into your pocket, as well as just basically it's a mini carabiner, but it does not open or close. My guess is it's more or less to slip over a small thin line. Flashlight, nothing in it, no batteries, but I actually have one of these sitting in my vehicle, and it's, you know, pretty easy to use LED. This thing, which is both a combination of hammer and then I'm guessing a small, what you would consider a chopping blade edge there, but then also down here at the bottom, retaining clip. So I can one hand this. There we go. Opens up. Now you've got a set of pliers. And then several in the handle built tools, almost like pretty much a mega Swiss Army knife, or Swiss Army axe as it were. Alright, so what do we got? We've got a saw blade, Phillips head screwdriver, another saw, mini wrench, bottle opener, and a standard blade. All that integrated into the handle. I will say this, it does not lock open. So when you open up these, you need to definitely watch your fingers, because depending upon what you're doing, it can easily close shut on any fingers or your hand caught in the way. So it's, again, it's one of those things where, is it functional? To a certain extent, absolutely. The chances of me specifically using this with the implements that it has, probably not. But again, it's something that if this is all you got literally in a pinch, well, it's still better than nothing. Set of forceps, an emergency blanket for heat, a wire saw for cutting, a little survival bracelet. It's got a compass, whistle. It actually has the ferro rod integrated onto it, because at the other end you've got the striker edge there for making a fire. And then of course you can untangle it and pull the paracord and use that as a tinder if you need to, if you don't have any other material to light up. And then inside this pouch here is a small collapsible shovel. Now the shaft is hollow here as well as in the handle, and you thread it in right in here. It's just about a 1/2 inch going in, maybe a little bit less. And then you have the locking knurl up here, so you've got basically a pick or a scraper, and then the shovel itself in this modification. And then if you loosen it back up again, I can do this. Bring this part down. Oh, not enough. There we go. And then you tighten it back up. And now, entrenching tool with, as you can see, can opener on the side, as well as saw on this end here. Now, as far as what I would do with this, I'm not going to be building super forts, but again, this is a lightweight tool and it probably has a limited amount of use, but it comes down to if you're in an outdoor survival situation and you have this and this is all that you have, you can still cut up some dead limbs and branches, you can still dig some trenches or some shallow areas if you needed to. Depending upon if you're out in the wintertime and there's snow, you could probably use this to dig up snow, start piling it up if you had to make a snow shelter as well. So it definitely will do a job to a certain extent. Now, as far as if you come up against a grizzly or something like that, I would say don't expect this to be the battle-hardened, life-saving implement that you'd see, you know, in the movies. But for what it's worth within the $20, it's not too bad. And then lastly over here, which I'm not going to pull everything out, but my guess is what we're looking at are assorted bandages, some gauze pads, we've got some Q-tips in there, looks to be at least, hold on, you know what, I'm just going to slide this out. Alright, so I'd say this is the largest component of the entire kit. So we've got alcohol pads, soap wipes, ice packs. We've got lots of assorted size band-aids, pair of vinyl gloves. This is for CPR, the mouth protection piece. A small amount of medical tape, some bandage, wrap. We've got burn dressing. Then we've got some sting relief pads, antiseptic swabs. We've got a large triangular bandage, another thing of gauze wrap, safety pins, regular gauze, they call them non-adherent wound pads, so it's not going to stick to the skin in case you've got a large open wound. Adhesive wound dressing, so you got to look at those two situations. Now, effectively speaking, all of this is a decent enough starter for a first aid kit. And again, it all comes down to if you have absolutely nothing and you have very little money, this can get you started. Everything that's in here and everything that came out from the bag is a good way to start. And that's the key primary takeaway is, yes, you can go out and you can spend $200 and get a high quality piece of gear, and you have that one high quality piece of gear. If you need more, then you're going to be spending a lot more to do that. You can go out and spend $100 and get a good amount of basic first aid stuff to get you started, and that $100 will definitely be worth it because now you have multiple pieces of gauze, tape, antiseptic sprays, all that sort of stuff, and maybe you have enough to now have multiple first aid kits in your vehicle, in your bug out bag, in your house, that sort of thing. But if you're limited on money and you don't have a lot to begin with, one of these kits is a good base starter, enough to get you going, and then you look at what you do and you don't need, and then you supplement that with something else, so you can invest your money in individual pieces. In some cases it might be something more customized to you and what you need. And one thing I will say is if you do invest in something like this, take the time to get smaller Ziploc bags, the small snack size or sandwich size ones up to a pint, and then take a lot of the individual components and put those into the bag separately. So instead of having one long plastic bag that you have to dump everything out, dig through to find what you need, you can have band-aids in one bag, you can have the gauze wrap in another bag, you can have the antiseptic wipes in another bag, you can have each thing in its own separate component, still kept together in one bag that you can then carry. So this way when you open it up, you can see what it is. You can even use some, white tape, whether it's masking tape or what have you, and a black magic marker, and write on it from the outside what it is. So in the event that someone else needs to use it and they're dumping everything out, they can immediately look. If they don't recognize it, they can at least see, oh, band-aids, gauze wrap, antiseptic wipe, whatever it is. Now on to the Temu bag. Alright, so let's unzip it. This going, and something already popped out. Put that there. Alright, I will say this, right off the top, both these bags seem to be almost identical so far in the setup. Let's pull some of this stuff out. More stuff, more stuff. A couple of different things, alright. Alright, yeah, definitely in terms of the setup of the bags, 2 interior pockets on this side with the elastic straps, single interior pocket on this side with the elastic straps, and the zippered pouch. The bags themselves, the quality, the setup, everything is exactly the same. So wherever the Amazon bag came from and the Temu bag came from, same place. So these are exactly the same. No real difference. I mean, stitching, everything holds up. If I pulled off the patch here and on the other one, and then you're not going to see any difference between them at all. So as far as that goes, quality of the bag, exactly alike. Now, in here, and I'm guessing, you know, same situation, should be shovel. But right off the top, something looks a little, might be my perspective. Thread this together. Let's see. No, they are the same size, but I do not know why. This one just seems a tiny bit smaller, but they're exactly the same size. Interesting. So, got that shovel. This first aid kit, I can see a few differences. Number one, this is everything in the kit, so it is not nearly as packed as the other one was. We've got gauze, we've got tape, we've got a tourniquet, which the other one did not come with. It's an elastic tourniquet. We still have the assorted band-aids, and then nestled inside here, if I can pull them out, we've got, looks to be alcohol wipes, a very small amount of safety pins, triangular bandage, a pair of very small scissors, not the EMT shears, plastic forceps. They don't really lock together, even though it looks like they're supposed to clamp and hold. That part they're not doing, whether that's the intent or not. And then thing of cotton swab Q-tips there. So the actual first aid portion of this kit from Temu, not heavily loaded up with first aid. Now, as I stated before, I went by pricing. I couldn't find exact item for item matchup. So there are some things that definitely look the same, and there are others that are somewhat different. I'm going to start putting these off to the side. We've got the survival bracelet, and still going to pull it out, see what we got. Same. Got the striker, the ferro rod, the whistle at the end, the little compass. So that's no different than the other one. There's something interesting. We've got ourselves a combat spork. So comes with a small lanyard, loop it through, and it looks to be, you can also use it as a whistle. So my guess is, oh, hold on, there we go. So you've got knife, can opener, saw edge. You got the spoon spork area, slips in. Terrible whistle though. Puts in like that, and then you lash it up. Does come with a compass, which again, this is an overall survival kit. So you get the compass as well. Alright, so we've got a rescue whistle, steel saw wire, this here, if I can get these open, they look to be plastic carabiner clips. Go on like that, pop it out, put it back on. I feel that, number one, these are not going to be for climbing and holding body weight. These seem to be simply for attaching and giving you an extra lash point on a backpack or something for strapping something down. And again, not anything big, not anything heavy. Again, one of the survival credit cards. And these credit cards, they come in their little pouch, and they actually have a small tool indicator on here that tells you what each of these things are. Here's your little imprint so you know what you're looking at. The Mylar emergency blanket for heat retention. We've got 2 pieces of twine. Tough braiding on it, so my guess is using these for the fire starter. You've got a, what is this? That's what I'm calling it. Alright, so it's got the snap closure with the Velcro loop, and then this ring detaches. I will tell you honestly, I do not know what this is for. I will have to go back in and look at the description. But I feel that one of 2 things. This can probably loop onto your belt, which will leave this hanging down, and depending upon, I'm thinking either if you have a pair of gloves that have a wrist loop on it, you could hook them into that. Maybe dog leash as a way to keep it attached so your hands free and you still have control of your dog. I don't know. For all I know, this could be holding a 1-liter bottle of soda that you want to keep handy with you. Who knows? And then of course, again, little LED flashlight. So I will say overall, the things that you get from that Temu one for just under $20 compared to the Amazon one, you're definitely getting more, but there are those differences. You know, the primary things, the compass was one. This spork I definitely liked. I can see these retaining clips being useful when you're trying to strap down extra stuff in there. I'm going to have to go back through and figure out exactly what this is used for. The saws, oh, I did not open this. My guess is it's another pocket knife of some type. Yep, in fact it looks to be exact same knife. So certain things are carbon copied right off the assembly line. They just put them into the bag and send them on its way. Others, you get a sort of unique option. So to one extent, if you have nothing, then these kits, they always give you something to start with. And again, you're going to have to tailor things to your specific needs, whether it be your physical capability, the number of people that you are looking to provide for. So that makes a determination on should you invest in multiple kits for each person and then build them all out, or are you looking to say you want to have one solid good trauma kit, first aid kit, and then small little individual IFAC kits to work with. It really makes that much of a difference. Some of the equipment, some of the pieces, you could definitely go to a dollar store and find, you know, a pack of these flashlights, probably 3 or 4 for just a few dollars, and you get some batteries, put them in, you're good to go. Honestly, this right here, for me, this is now my new favorite thing. I did not notice this when I was ordering. This is absolutely my new favorite thing because I will be using this in my lunch bag from now on. And then you get things like the whistle, which is, again, it's a good thing. People don't think about it, but if there's a situation, and I will say this, full disclosure, I do not actually have an emergency whistle on me, but if you're in a situation where in an earthquake or some type of collapse where you're physically pinned in, you can't get out, but you're aware that there are people looking for you, being able to have an emergency whistle will at least give the people a heads up that, hey, somebody's blowing a damn whistle, let's find them and tell them to cut that shit out. At the minimum, you get rescued that way, but it's something that should be considered. It's not a top priority, but it's one of those small things where you go, all right, I've got one. Will I ever need to use it? Who knows? But if I do, I have it. So my overall view is a lot of the gear is functional and it will serve its purpose. Some of it, I wouldn't heavily rely upon it. I would probably, if I were looking at it, invest in a better quality entrenching tool versus this one. But even something like this, you could keep this in your car if you live in snowy areas to help clear you out from snow, do a little ice breaking, things like that. But again, the limited number of uses you're probably going to get out of it in comparison to spending, 40, 60 bucks on a better, well-made, higher quality one, that makes a difference. Glow sticks, if you can find them in one of those economy packs, how they even sell them on Amazon, again, they're useful, and as long as you know how to properly deploy them and what you're going to be using them for, even if you're in a situation where if you have people on your team, as it were, and you have green, yellow, and red glow sticks, and they each have a simplistic meaning of red indicates a dangerous area or some type of trouble, yellow indicates caution within this area. Maybe it's a situation where you're effectively living on the streets in a total collapse society and you need to mark an area for the rest of your team that they're following so they have an idea of, oh, hey, we can see a yellow glow stick up there, that means caution in this area. Or hey, what about that building? Oh wait, someone threw a red glow stick up there, so that means danger, whether it's the building itself or possibly occupants in or around it. I mean, there's numerous things within each of these kits that I can take apart, break into newer, smaller kits for a specific purpose. So you might want to have some of the equipment from both and then put them together, combine them into a smaller emergency escape and evasion kit, or a smaller out in the woods going for a walk with my dog under a normal condition. I don't think anything's going to go wrong kit, but you have certain items with you just in case something goes wrong. That really comes down to how you look at the situation and the potential outcomes that arise in those scenarios that just come out of nowhere, as well as making specific mission planned gear, putting everything together for, okay, this is what I need if I need to walk from here to there and it's 40, 50 miles away, or I need to be able to go assist a person under these certain conditions, and this is what I need to bring with me. So you start to plan out with something like this, again, as the base to get you started, and then you implement all of the other external things that you think about that you need. And eventually, depending upon your situation, you might have multiples set up for if you've got a spouse, if you've got children, if you've got dependent elderly parents, whatever the case is. So everyone has something to help them individually, but also still collectively work within the function of the group, whether it's 2 people or 20 people, whatever the case may be. And that's where you start looking at the cost difference between buying a pre-made kit or buying individual items one by one by one, because in some cases you're not going to be able to afford a lot of the top-notch stuff right off the top, and in some cases you don't really need to buy it. Yes, there is a difference between very high quality and very high quality copies, but in some cases that difference is not worth the price for what you intend to use it for. If you're a lumberjack and you're cutting down trees every damn day, you want the best axe and hatchet and saws that you can use because you're using it every single day. But if you realistically just need a chainsaw for that possibility of having to cut up a couple of limbs from a downed tree that one time, you don't need to spend $1,200 on a whole bunch of equipment. You just need equipment that's going to last well enough to get you through that, maybe into the next one, and then later if you decide to invest in something more, you can do that. But that's what it comes down to. You still make your own personal choice. You can look at it and say, I don't trust those pre-made things, or I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I don't want it with this. You can scroll and you can scroll and you can scroll, and you're going to find a lot of the same thing just from different suppliers, but effectively speaking, it all looks like it came out of the same factory anyway. But that's it for now. Check out this next video that's coming up, and I'll catch you in the next one.